Julia forgot to mention the Brownies, who had a sleepover here last night. Nice warm floor there with their leader, with Julia sleeping on the coal patch at the top. Won't do that again, will you? But they've sent a card, and that's in the meeting place on the board of cards. And do have a look at all those greetings from many people. I haven't looked at what's on the cover of those cards, but I imagine somewhere there will be a nativity scene. Though maybe it's all robins and Father Christmas, I don't know. But do you remember taking part in a nativity? A few years ago, I guess it might be for all of us. Now, what part would you really want to be if you were asked today to take part in a nativity? Maybe you'll be too nervous to volunteer. I'm not going to get you out the front, and we won't play. But let's hear any parts you're willing to take on board. Yes.
Could I be third sheep?
Third sheep. Well done. Okay, we'll put you as third sheep at the back. Oh, at the back. You don't want to be very humble. What a shy boy he is.
One of the kings who comes much later after the nativity.
Okay, one of the kings. We won't quibble about whether a king or a wise man or a wise woman. She's always late. Okay. What are you going to be? The grumpy innkeeper, Alan? The manger. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a non-speaking part, but that's fine. So we've got a manger, we've got a sheep, and we've got one of the wise men. Okay.
I'll be an angel.
Oh, well done. We had to have an angel in the crowd. Yeah, thank you very much.
I would like to be Mary, because I like to be a mum.
Okay. You be Mary. Yeah. Yeah. Mary, it was always the big role, wasn't it? To be Mary.
When we were kids,
Yeah.
we always wanted to be.
You always wanted to be Mary. It's been taken. Sorry, Sue. So, what are you going to be? What are you going to be?
Me,
Yes, you. Got to take part.
the donkey.
The donkey. Okay. It's an interesting nativity play. We'll have to work with this. Well, we've got Mary anyway. That's one. And we've got the angels. So that, we need a Joseph, yeah. Well, that's... Need a dad? Yeah. Anyone willing to be Joseph? Oh, no volunteers for Joseph. It was always a hard part to fill, wasn't it? Joseph. Anyone at the back willing to be Joseph? No? Okay, we'll just have to make do with the sheep. Okay. And any other parts you're willing to take on board? We're talking about what part would you play in the nativity. You've got to be there. We're a week away from the great celebration, and we want to remind ourselves of the story. And we are all invited to share in that celebration, to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Anyone else willing to, and you don't have to be gender specific, so we can have a woman playing Joseph or a man playing whatever, the innkeeper's wife.
I'll be a shepherd.
You'll be a shepherd. Well done. We've got a shepherd now. Any other volunteers? Oh, well done, Linda. Thank you very much. We're almost there, aren't we? We've got Mary and Joseph. We've got a manger. We've got one wise man. We've got one shepherd. So that'll do it. And we've got the angels with the message. You're doing well. You're doing well. Well, we're struggling to actually fill all the parts. No one's volunteered to be the baby Jesus. Kitty, would you play that part? Well done. Yep. But, you know, we're just about fill the part. I only got one shepherd, but that'll do. Only one wise person, but they're bringing all three gifts, and that's fine. The Bible doesn't say there were three wise magi, just that they brought three gifts. There might have been 6 of them, and they were each shared one. We don't know. Schools often have the opposite problem. They actually have too many pupils for all the different parts, and so a little bit of invention has to be done. So if you saw the film Love Actually, there's all kinds of characters. There were, what did I see, 2 lobsters, Spider-Man, and an alien, and a few others. There's various variations. Aliens seem to play quite an important part in school nativity plays nowadays. Christmas with the aliens. And one has actually told the story from the point of view of the fleas. Fleas on the back of the camel that Kate is bringing, and fleas on the donkey, I think, or even the sheep. There's another from the point of view of a snowman. Add in a snowman. Difficult. Don't think there's much snow in Palestine this time of year, but we associate Christmas with in the bleak midwinter. So why not put in a snowman as well? What part would you play? There's a little reflection, and we won't show you what the part is, but perhaps some forgotten character in the story who was there in the background among some straw in the corner, watching on. Maybe a cow? Well, we tend to think of the animals, don't we? We think about the cow and the oxen and that great legend that the cattle and the donkey and the animals bowed down at the birth of Jesus. That beautiful poem of Thomas Hardy. But this character was no doubt there. I don't know how many feet or meters we're meant to be away from these characters, but certainly in urban situations they're all around, and sometimes we may see them near the bins. A rat, yeah. And the poem goes on to say, well, if Jesus, it ends with, and the baby smiled at me, at the rat. And the point is that even if we feel like a rat sometimes, if we feel like the unloved, unlovable, we are welcomed by this Jesus who was born in such poverty. Even the rats had a welcome. Well, today we don't focus on rats, but we focus on Mary and Joseph and the part they played. And we think about what part we play within God's work today.
The first reading is from Isaiah chapter 7, verses 10 to 16. The Lord sent another message to Ahaz. Ask the Lord your God to give you a sign. It can be from deep in the world of the dead or from high up in heaven. Ahaz answered, I will not ask for a sign. I refuse to put the Lord to the test. To that Isaiah replied, Listen now, descendants of King David, it's bad enough for you to wear out the patience of people. Do you have to wear out God's patience too? Well then, the Lord himself will give you a sign. A young woman who is pregnant and will have a son, and will name him Emmanuel. By the time he is old enough to make his own decisions, people will be drinking milk and eating honey. even before that time comes, the lands of those 2 kings who terrify you will be deserted. This is the word of the Lord.